Welcome to the Bougie Baldie Podcast with your host, Kellie Rhymes.
Hi, welcome everyone, and thank you guys that have joined live tonight. My name is Kellie Rhymes. I'm the host of the Bougie Baldie Podcast, and we have episode number 2 of season number 2 that is going to be tonight. I am so excited to introduce you guys to my guest, Morris Brown. You're going to learn all about him in this podcast. We have some great information for you. He is an inventor. He is an innovator. He is a lot of different things. It is a very, very interesting conversation. Now, before we get into that, though, I want to make sure you guys know about the Bougie Baldie TV show, which is an extension of this podcast. If you don't know about the TV show, make sure you go check it out. It is another way for me to help support and uplift women who are experiencing hair loss by sharing information, education, and just real life stories from women who've experienced hair loss themselves. So it's time to jump into episode number 2 of the Bougie Baldie Podcast with Mr. Morris Brown. So let's go ahead and get into it. And thank you again for tuning in. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Yes, I am your women's hair loss support and authenticity coach, and also now TV producer, because the Bougie Baldie Podcast has an extension which is called the Bougie Baldie Show. So I'll talk about that a little bit later as we wrap up the podcast. But today I have a wonderful guest that is inventing some different products that will help the hair loss community. Now, these products are not out yet, but they will be out soon. I can't give you a date right now, but they will be out. But I wanted to bring him on to talk about the journey, what he has been doing, how he got to this point of creating these products and different things like that. Okay. So let me introduce you to Morris Brown. Now, you want to say hello, Morris, really quick before I tell everybody about you?
Sure. Hello, Kellie. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it for sure.
Yes, no problem. I had to get you on after we had our conversation, but we'll get back into that a little bit later. First, let me tell the audience all about who you are, your past, and what you have been working on, and all of the things, okay?
Sure.
For you guys who don't know, Morris Brown started his career in television, working for networks in Hollywood, such as CNN, NBC, and Fox Sports as an editor. He later started his own production company, which focused on music video production and taught video post-production courses at UCLA, where he was one of the top instructors. He has now transitioned to corporate America as a proprietary software trainer and instructional designer. Now, Morris is also the author of 13 books. Okay, 13 books. That's a lot. Now, he first began with his first book, which is called Smart Fetus. It is a fetal training program that focuses on fetal stimulation and behavioral genetics. He then went on to author 11 more books. So he has an 11 book children's series entitled Hanging with the Girls. It chronicles a family visiting various local parks. The books focus on telling stories about quality time that Morris spent with his 2 daughters in their journeys together in their earlier years. Now, eventually, he was involved in a tragic car accident, which caused a strange result, savantism. As a result, he has now developed 6 groundbreaking new products, along with 3 apps that are all revolutionary breakthroughs to solving critical problems in the world. Welcome again, Morris.
Thank you again for having me, Kellie. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, you are so welcome. Okay, so let me tell you guys how we actually met, okay? We were connected through my podcast producer on LinkedIn. So Morris and my podcast producer, Jason, had a conversation. They met each other, I think, on LinkedIn as well. Am I correct with that?
Yes.
So they met on LinkedIn as well, connected, had a conversation, and Jason said, you have to meet Morris. You have to connect. So he connected us too. We hopped on a call. And Morris just told me all about his background, what he has incurred with the car accident, how that has led to what he's doing now, and all of the things. So I wanted to bring him on to share some of his story and to talk about two particular products or inventions. I should say inventions. They're not just products at this moment. They're inventions, things he has created that will help the hair loss community. All right, so let's go ahead and like I said, after the conversation with Morris, I was mind blown. My mouth was just open, just wide open, like, I just can't believe this. So Morris, tell the audience what happened. We talked about this car accident. So talk about what happened and how that specific car accident changed your life.
Absolutely, Kelly. Well, car accidents are a tragic thing in anyone's life, especially when they're serious car accidents. Thank God my car accident wasn't fatal, but I did suffer a traumatic brain injury, or a TBI. A person was eating their lunch and they rear-ended me, and I got whiplash. And as I recall, I think my head hit the steering wheel as well, because they hit me so hard. And when I got out of the car, I was dizzy, disoriented, and I spoke to the lady who hit me, and we exchanged information and went through all of that and got the attorneys and the lawsuits, and it was a big mess. But after all that, I started having these strange side effects as a result of the accident. I started having these very vivid dreams. This was the first thing. I had three things that happened. The first thing was vivid dreams, where I could know I was in the dream, talk to the people in the dream and say, hey, I'm in a dream and you're in a dream, and I'm looking at you and I know that I'm in a dream. And they would look at me weird, like I'm talking to them and I knew I was in the dream. I had never had that experience, and I could see their eye color, their skin, everything about them. And I was talking to them because I knew I was in the dream.
Okay.
And that was very strange. So that was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened, and then, of course, after the accident, I went to the doctor and had MRIs on my skull, and my brain was swollen inside of my head. And I was like nauseated and had, cranial or head pain for some time after the accident. But these occurrences of these things were happening during this process as I'm trying to recover from the accident. So the second thing that happened, which was really bizarre, is that I would go to a restaurant to order food like I usually do. And this one time I went to a restaurant and the person brought me my food with some fish and some sides. And as I started to eat the fish, I kid you not, I could, like you have a personality and I have a personality as people, I could feel the personality of the fish that I was eating, and also the person that cooked the food. So I'm like, this is crazy. What is going on? So I went to the doctor. They took more x-rays. They didn't know what to do. It was very strange to them. So I said, let me go to another restaurant, because maybe it's that restaurant has some crazy things going on. I don't know. So I went to a different restaurant. The same thing happened. I could feel the personality of the chicken I was eating and the person that cooked my food. Now, we all know the science says that we only use 10% of our brains, and that the rest of the brain is dormant or turned off or something. And different traumatic accidents to the skull can somehow unlock these hidden personality traits or things within the brain that are dormant. You've heard of savants, people who can like play the piano like Beethoven, or some math genius because they're born as a savant. There's two ways to become a savant. Either you're born as a savant, or you have some type of traumatic brain injury and it unlocks something within your brain. So that is the latter of what happened to me. So the third thing that happened after this food situation at the restaurants, I would start waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with these genius ideas. I just wake up and I'm like, wow, I have a great idea. And then I work on the idea, I iterate it, I use some of my AI tools to assist me in flushing it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with these amazing products. I mean, I came up with a new type of propulsion. You know, we have gas combustion engines and we have electric cars.
Right.
I developed an entirely new type of combustion, or not combustion, but a new type of locomotion propulsion that's neither one of those. And that's, you know, $1 billion product right there.
Right.
And the two other products that I came up with, one is a more product, actually like six total, is a sugar replacement product where
Mm-hmm.
it tastes like maple syrup, but it has the effects of eating a bowl of vegetables, and it has zero glycemic effect on the body. So either I come up with these ideas or somebody tells me a problem and I fall asleep that night and I wake up with an idea. Like your friend who told me about this meeting you,
Yep.
he told me a problem. He said, "Hey, Morris, I got a problem. Can you figure this out?" And then so I'll work on it maybe. And I fell asleep. The next morning I woke up with the solution. I gave him 100-page document on the solution to his problem.
Mm.
He was floored because he's like, "How did you do this? And how did you do it so quick? I did it like in a day or two."
Mm-hmm.
So he now has his full entire answer to fixing the problems for his business. The two products that would relate to your audience, one is called Revita Crown. You know, some women wear perms, weaves, and wigs. They use those products.
Yeah.
My product is a product that would allow you to grow any hair texture that you want. So if you have curly hair like you and I, and you want to grow straight hair, you take my product and you can grow straight hair.
Okay, well, let me pause you right there because we're going to
Yes,
get back into those products and I want
yes,
to get into them in more detail. But
sure.
before you go there, we got
Okay.
to stop because you said a lot of different things that people are probably like, what? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about. I just want to tell the audience that Morris told me about the sugar replacement product that he's working on, or invention. I don't know why I keep calling them products, inventions.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just like, I mean, that would help so many people who are diabetic, you know, with
Right,
their help with
right,
the blood sugar, people
right.
who just need to get healthy in general, which is a lot of people in this world
Yes.
that eat a lot of sweets and junk. And if they could just replace that one thing, that sugar with something that is healthier, that could totally change their bodies, their minds, all of the things, because sugar causes a lot of different problems within the body. So
Well,
I was just amazed by that. I'm like, I can't wait
well,
until
that's the reason I created that product, because to me that was a problem. Because I said
Mhm.
it's two ways I come up with these ideas. I come up with it on my own, or somebody tells me. I came up with the solution for that product or an idea because I love donuts, I love peach cobbler, I love cake. You know, I love these sweet things. And I said it's a crime that all that really good stuff is really bad for your body.
Yeah.
So my brain somehow came up with the solution of creating this formulation. I have it in liquid form and a flour type form. So you can bake a cake or any other type of product.
Hmm.
And with this particular product, you can bake a cake and you can eat that cake every single day of your life. And your body thinks it's eating broccoli, kale, beets, you know, whatever vegetable. It
Right.
thinks it's eating a bowl of vegetables. So you can eat a cake every day and fool your body with zero glycemic effects.
Oh,
And you can eat it every day and not have to worry about any health harm whatsoever.
and that would be such a wonderful thing. I could eat all the ice cream, all of the cookies, all the brownies.
That's what we all want. We want to have our cake and eat it too,
Yeah.
so to speak. And this product allows you to do that. The thing that with the sugar industry is that sugar is an addictive product,
Yeah.
basically. And when it's manufactured, it's not even in its raw form that was created in
Mhm.
nature. once the manufacturers get a hold of it and they turn it around to now it's addictive substance that people get addicted to, it's even worse because it's not good for you, and now you're addicted and you want sugar and you have sugar cravings. It causes all type of problems in your gut, and we talked about diabetes and things internally in your stomach. So sugar is really horrible for the body if it's not naturally made by God.
Yes.
Once it gets
Which
to
is
a manufactured level, it's a horrible thing. But the way God created it in fruit, you've never seen somebody get really, really big and obese by eating fruit.
Yep. And you know what? Every Sunday here, I go on a walk they have something called the Ciclovia, where they shut down like major streets in different neighborhoods, and everybody comes out to walk and exercise and do all types of physical movement, right? Which is one thing I love about being here, is because they put emphasis on your health. But there are people who will grind sugarcane up for you and give you sugarcane juice. You can buy sugarcane juice, and I buy it every single Sunday. It's so good. But the fact that that is raw, that is nature, that's where sugar comes from, sugar cane, right?
Right.
So the fact that I could just get sugar cane, it's grinded up, the juice comes out, they put a little lime in it, and that's it. And it's the best thing that you could have. And it's very good for you as well. Like, it has autoimmune support properties and all kinds of things. It's very good for your digestive. So that's the difference between what God made in nature versus what is manufactured, right? And it's not good for
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the satiation of taste in our mouth is what draws us to anything. Anything sweet we love, anything sour or bitter, we kind of cringe up. Like if we eat a lemon, it's not going to be like eating a piece of candy. So that's why I said I want my sweet taste in my mouth, and the visual of eating a cake, because it would be a cake, but to not have the harmful effects of raw sugar.
Right.
So that's what I've done, is that it tricks your body into thinking I'm eating a bowl of vegetables, because it has, from a molecular makeup, this product that I formulated has this makeup of, from a genetic standpoint, of eating a vegetable as opposed to raw sugar.
Okay. Yes. Good thing. Now, the other question I want to step back and ask before we move forward into the hair loss inventions. How did people respond to you? Like your friends, your family, how did they respond to you when you started telling them the stories about your dreams and how you were thinking of these new products and creating all of these things after this car accident? How did they respond to you?
Well, a lot of people were scratching their head about the second side effect that happened to me, which is the feeling the fish's personality. And the person who cooked my food, they're like, what? How can you feel the personality of a dead fish that's now on your plate that you're eating? And I said, I don't know. it just happened. I could, like, whoever that fish was as a person, I could like feel it in me. It's weird, I still think of it. I think it's weird. But these ideas that I've been coming up with, I've already been starting to have meetings with investors.
Okay.
I also just finished, ideas come from everywhere. I just finished a feature film screenplay like a month ago. So I'm looking to kind of pitch that, but the products just keep coming. I can't turn it off. It just seems like I wake up with another solution to something. I had a friend who had tendonitis in her shoulder. I went to sleep. I created an entire business on cure for tendonitis in your shoulder. The next thing I'm going to be working on is Alzheimer's, fibromyalgia, and some other major issues that I'm trying to solve as well.
Well, I look forward to all of these coming to fruition and being out there for the public, because they will be very beneficial around the world, period. Not just the United States. You have to go global, and you will be global. So I just can't wait till that happens.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any investors in your audience, I'm definitely willing to talk to people. I'm also going to be working on one of my students, because I teach. One of my students in my class 2 weeks ago said, Morris, can you work on hot flashes? Yeah, I go through these hot flashes. So can you work on that? So I'm going to be working on hot flashes as well.
Oh, yeah. The whole perimenopause, menopause thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's big right now. I mean, people are really, really talking about that. So solutions to those things would be greatly appreciated.
Sure.
All right, well, let's get into the main topic. And you started mentioning it, but we are going to dive deeper into it because I know my audience, they're here to hear about hair loss solutions, support,
Yeah.
and all of the things, right?
Mhm.
So you have created Revita, am I saying that correctly?
Revita Crown.
Revita Crown, make sure I'm saying it correctly, which changes your hair texture, helps you regrow and changes it. And then you
Sure.
also have the reset protocol, which
Mhm.
is specifically for alopecia, which you basically said removes the causes of the alopecia within 6 months and your hair regrows. Is that
Correct.
correct?
A full head of hair in 6 months. Yes.
Full head of hair in 6 months. Okay. So let me start by asking you because I have a lot of questions about this, and I know my audience does too.
Yeah.
What made you focus on developing these particular solutions to hair loss?
Well, once again, it comes to me in two ways. Either somebody mentions it, or I hear a conversation, or I just come up with it on my own. I think the alopecia actually was a friend of mine. She has alopecia,
Mm-hmm.
and I fell asleep and came up with that solution. The other product, Revita Crown, I think that may have been mentioned by a friend as well. I can't recall exactly where that came from, but I woke up one morning and said, if you want to go back into the history from a African American standpoint, coming out of slavery, we were trying to fit into Anglo society, and one of the ways we did that was people were creating hair products to make our hair straight, so we
Mm-hmm.
could straighten our hair and fit in and not have the afros that we were naturally born with, just to fit into society. That frame of mind of thinking has not left us. Still to this very day, you have people of African American descent or anybody who has kinky hair who wants straight hair will still use these perms and relaxers, weaves, wigs that are straighter than their natural hair.
Right.
But these products are horrible for your head. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people, eventually lose their hair because they've used perms and relaxers so much, and that stuff is so strong that you
Yeah.
eventually have hair problems later on as a
Yeah, that's
result.
what I believe happened to me. So yeah,
Oh, really?
definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
said, why don't we get to the root cause of the problem? The root cause gets down into the follicle and the follicle level. Has there been any damage there? What has happened? Or let's say if there's no damage, you just have curly, kinky hair because you were born with curly, kinky hair,
Mm-hmm.
but you still want curlier hair or longer hair for whatever reason. Okay, so the situation is I said, let's just give people what they want. And amazingly, there are some people who are not African American, who are, say, Anglo or other races who have very, very, very straight hair, who
Mm-hmm.
want, like back in the 70s, you have people who were trying to make afros who weren't African American. They wanted to fit in with the 70s movement. So they were trying to grow an afro and so forth. And they curl up their hair in some way. So now what you can do at the follicle level is we're doing a DNA reprogramming. So what allows you to do is you can now have that reprogramming at the DNA level and molecular level changed in such a way so that now if you have really, really curly hair and you want really, really straight hair, we have reprogrammed the follicle DNA structure so that it now says, this is my structure now. It's straight.
Mm-hmm.
I was programmed at birth with this curly DNA programming that said, I'm going to grow this type of hair. We change that to whatever you want, say straight in this example. And the follicle says, now I have this programming of straight, so I'm going to start growing straight hair. And then we have the reverse for people who have straight hair who want to grow curly hair. There's no
Mm-hmm.
chemical involved whatsoever. This is a supplement that you take, and in 3 months, it makes the change to the new structure of what you want to grow. It's also reversible. So say if you don't want, you went from straight to curly, you say, I want to go back to straight. You can now go back. And if you had curly hair, you have straight, you want to go back to curly, you can now go back. So it's a reversible product.
Okay, so I have some questions. Let's pause right there.
Yes.
For one, with this product, is this product for people who actually have hair loss like myself, or is this product more for people who already have hair and just want to change the texture?
Correct. This first product, or Revita Crown, is for people who have a full head of hair and they just want to change the texture.
Okay.
I want straight hair, or I want curly hair. They can change the texture now.
Okay, so then the follow-up question is, let's say I use the second product, which we'll talk about next, and I have alopecia. I want to regrow my hair. So I start taking the second product, which is called Reset Protocol.
Correct.
So I start taking Reset Protocol. I get my hair to start growing, but then I'm like, okay, well, I never liked the texture. I want something a little bit looser, not too loose, but just a little bit more looser so I can manage it better. Can I then take Revita Crown to change the texture?
We recommend not doing that yet, to let your hairs reset itself. Once you get to, because the second product, Reset Protocol, takes 6 months to grow your full head of hair for a person who has alopecia. We don't want to tinker with that chemistry just yet. Let your hair get used to being in this new form that we've just regenerative process that it goes through. So we'd say wait for a year, a total year, to have that full head of hair. And once it's growing in and it's full, and now you want to start tinkering with the DNA to get it curlier or straighter, then you can take our second product.
Okay. Now, next question. Has Revita Crown been tested and, all of the things that have to happen, or is it still going through that process?
I've already done completed simulated trials, not human trials yet, but I've done simulated trials, and it shows a 97% success rate with no side effects. So it has a very high percent. So like, say, for example, if you have really, really tight curls, you will get to about 90% straight. And if you have really straight hair, you'll get to about 90% curly. The ones who will get the extreme change are the ones who are in the middle. Say if you have really, like, not really curly hair and not straight hair, you're just like that kind of a
maybe that wavy hair,
wavy, loose in the middle. And then you go into the full curly direction, you will get full curly hair. And if you want to go the opposite direction to straight, you will get fully straight hair. So the ones that are at the extremes are the ones that will not get the full result, but you'll get 90%. So if you're really curly, you'll get 90% straight. And if you're really straight, you'll get 90% curly.
Okay. So you said you did simulated trials.
Correct.
When you're expecting to do the human trials, and do you even have an idea of when this product would potentially be out on the market for people to purchase?
Oh, that's a good question. The next question is to investors. The investors, they're going to need human trial research to really make this perfected for the FDA and to bring to market. So the investors that come in will work on securing the patents, because I have all the formulations for everything that I've created so far, whether it's the propulsion, the sugar, these 2 hair products and some other products. I have all the research, science, documentation, formulations, everything. Now it just takes the investor to come in, and we get these patents, and we get the human trial research going, and then we can take it to market.
Got it. Okay. All right. So any investors out there, once again, or if you know an investor who may be interested in something like this, make sure you contact Morris, and I will have his information in the description or show notes of the podcast.
The thing about this is that these are billion-dollar industries. I mean, we're talking about alopecia. We're talking about changing your hair texture to any hair texture. I mean, can you imagine how many people do perms and weaves and wigs, and how much of a billion-dollar industry that is?
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's so the investor that comes on with this is in store for a serious return on investment, because these are questions people have been fighting with for years, to have these type of things at a product level that I have.
Yes, I know. I mean, I could just tell you, probably most of the women in my world would be like, oh, one of these products, either the Revita Crown product, which is the hair texture, or even the Reset Protocol, of course, because I know a lot of people with hair loss.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh, I could take this instead of having to continually spend my money on medications or things that are not working, that dermatologists have prescribed, or wigs or weaves, or, whatever it may be. Like you said, the hair industry is $1 billion industry. So how about we put that money back in our pockets, support, a business, an inventor who has created something that will help us for the rest of our lives. So, yep,
Yeah, I mean,
jump on
because
it.
and the thing about this is it's all organic, it's all safe. There are no chemicals, no side effects, and that's what is really going to be, a savior to a lot of people. I mean, even myself, I always used to have kids in my class when I was in school who had this like wavy little hair, and I'm like, I wish I had hair like that,
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
anybody who wants to have the hair of their liking, they can now have it. So can you imagine the people who don't have to do perms anymore and weaves and wigs?
Exactly. Exactly. Or getting blowouts. It's all kind of ways that women are
Yeah,
straightening their hair still. So, I mean, there's
right.
still money that goes back into your pocket.
Yeah.
But we've talked about Revita Crown. Let's dive into Reset Protocol because most of my listeners are women that have hair loss. So
Yes.
let's talk about all about that because I know they
Okay.
want to hear.
Sure. I did heavy research on the alopecia community and actually contacted the Society of Alopecia, I think it was, or something like that. I didn't hear back from them, which I was shocked to tell them I had a
Mhm.
cure for this. But basically, there's different types of alopecia, and there's different types of ways that hair loss has come to people, whether it be through relaxers and perms, or stress in their lives, or some other way, and it's damaged the follicle, communication in a way that allows them to have lost their hair.
Mhm.
My product and research has looked at all these different possible ways that could have become a victim of this and now have alopecia, and has looked at all of those, analyzed all those different scenarios, so that in my approach to curing this or solving this problem, we have addressed all the areas of each of the different types of alopecia that you can get, so that
Mhm.
all of these are addressed in my solution. And basically, you start taking this. It'll be a gradual transition into a 6-month period of growth that you'll start to see. And by 6 months, you'll have a full head of hair. So we
Mm.
basically reprogram the damaging that has been damaged. We get to the root, just like with Revita Crown, we get to the root cause and the follicle level. The same thing with alopecia, but even deeper, because we get into all the problems and that cause alopecia in the first place. We tackle that, reverse that, fix that, and now you're back to before you had alopecia, and even better.
So, okay, question, because there are some people who are born with alopecia, as you know,
Yeah,
and that's an autoimmune disease, right? So,
correct.
if it's fixed, so are you saying that it will reverse the autoimmune disease? Like
That
it
is
will
correct.
eliminate
That is
that?
that is correct.
And also, if you're a person such as like myself, I have scarring alopecia. So that's why I said earlier, I do believe the relaxers and the things that I was doing to straighten my hair caused my scarring alopecia because what else would have?
Right.
So for a person like me, where my follicles are dead, they're gone, like they were literally coming out of my head. Are you
Mm-hmm.
saying that my follicles will regrow through that scar tissue and I will still be able to have hair?
We have addressed all the areas that I mentioned that cause alopecia, and including scarring as well. To have a full answer to that question, I'll need to do human trials. I've
Okay.
done simulated trials so far, and the simulated trials for my product still show in the 90% percentile of success rate with
Okay.
no side effects. To have the real answer to that question, we need to do further research on human trials to get that final answer.
Okay, okay. And look, I'm like, I would like, if you need a human trial, I will sign up because I am just interested in seeing how it works and
Yeah,
then also telling people about it because, when it works, as long as people see and have
right.
evidence, they're ready. So I definitely say I raise my hand.
Well, the whole thing is that hair is a woman's beauty, or a man as well. Men who have male pattern baldness, this can assist in that as well. And we're looking to see how this can work with men and not just women, but
Mhm.
anybody who has alopecia or some type of hair loss. We know there are some top competitors out there currently in the marketplace, like Rogaine and a
Mhm.
lot of other top, hair restoration products that are out there. But ours is at a different level. We researched all those companies to see how they do things. And we've done things differently in our research to figure out how to solve these problems. And we think we've come up with a winning solution to these problems.
So like, okay, so the companies you just referred to, I know you have to continue to use those products in order to see the results if you receive any at all, right? But
Right.
with your product, I know you said you take it for 6 months. Do you have to continue to take it after the 6 months? Like, or do you get to take a break and then have to take it later? Or after 6 months, is it just done?
That's where the human trials come in.
Okay.
The research that we've done so far says that once you take it for 6 months, it's pretty much reset and reprogram the problem. So your body thinks that when you were born, and say you were born with natural hair and everything was fine. Once the reprogramming is set, we lock it into place so
Okay.
that you don't have to take the product anymore, because it's like you were born with regular hair and it's now locked in place. So it's not going to go back. So that's what we have to do further research on in our human trials.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else you want to share about either one of the products? Because my next question
Yeah.
is going to be more around the human trials, the investors. You talked about that a little bit. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to go into next. So is there any other information you want to share about Revita Crown or Reset Protocol?
No, I mean, they're great products. If your audience has other problems, as I mentioned, people have been emailing me and calling me saying, "Hey, Morris, what about this problem? What about that problem?" Like I said, fibromyalgia, I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna work on Alzheimer's. I'm gonna work on hot flashes. And if your audience has other problems that they have, they can email me and let me know. Maybe I can work on those as well.
Okay.
But as far as these two products, I think it would be a godsend. I mean, to people who really want to either have any kind of hair texture or who have alopecia and who want their hair back. I mean, I've told some women about this before even speaking with you, and they're like, "More, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to try this out. Let me try it. Tell me when this is coming to market."
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, and even the sugar product. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
sugar industry is $1 billion industry. And also they say what's really hot is sugar substitutes. People are looking for an alternative to the horrible sugar that's on the marketplace. So it's really an answer to a lot of people's problems in so many ways.
Now, and as you've mentioned, and we've just, kind of talked about, both of these industries are billion-dollar industries. So you
Right.
know that you're going to have some pushback from those industries because they don't want you to affect their bottom line, right?
Well, I have to admit, I thought about that, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
about, all the companies in Asia where a lot of these hair products come from, the art, human hair and different type of hair that people do for extensions in the US come from overseas. And
Mm-hmm.
those are $1 billion companies. So this would be a hit to, that type of business, because if you can now grow it yourself, what do you need these other products for?
Yeah.
So yeah, there may be
Well,
some people.
how are you prepared to deal with that is I guess the question though.
Well, this is what my plan is. My plan is to do licensing. So I'm not the bad guy, so to speak, meaning that I have the invention of the product. So other people who are into the hair care industry can come to me, license my product, and they are the ones putting it on the market. They just signed a licensing agreement with me. I have the patent. They will sign a licensing agreement with me, and then they can go out and just market the product as their product, but it's through me.
Got it. Okay. Okay. All right. Now you talked about investors and human trials. So my question was going to be, or is, I should say, what are all the resources that you currently need to move forward with these inventions and these patents? We
Basically, it's financial resources, basically, because with any new product, it takes some monetary investment, some financial resource to bring these products to market. With any product, there's research and development, R&D, that has to be done, especially in a situation like this where you're working with a human being and something that goes into the human body. There's a little more involved as far as getting approval by the FDA and working with things that are safe for human body. So there's definitely millions of dollars that will need to be spent to do the research to bring these to market. But the end result is really a what's the word I'm looking for? a gold mine for the investor and a return on investment that will be far beyond what they put in from research and development standpoint, because we just mentioned it's $1 billion industry. So say if you have to spend 10 or 20 million in research and development, the end goal result is $1 billion industry. So what you put into the R&D is going to pale in comparison to your return on investment.
Okay. All right. So investors out there, or again, if you know someone who is an investor and may be interested in getting involved, make sure you reach out to Morris. I am going to put his LinkedIn profile link in the description as well. That is how you can contact him. So if you are an investor, you want to jump in. I mean, and we're talking about major investors. We're not talking about just $1,000. We're talking about major investors who can get together and raise millions of dollars for R&D. Okay. All right. So Morris, let's move on, because I want you to talk about your books. We mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast in your introduction. And let me pause right here and just say to the audience, I know Morris has shared some wonderful information about his patents and products that he has created, or is in the midst of creating, I should say. And I know we might be feeling like, I wish we can get this now, but we cannot. But I wanted to bring him on to make you guys aware of the fact that this is happening, the fact that someone is working on this, so that when it comes out and it's ready, you guys will be some of the first people to hear about it and know where to go get it. So that's really the reason why I wanted to bring Morris on. I feel like this is what he has created and invented is so important. So we got to get the word out there, got to get your ears buzzing, so that when it comes out, you already know what it is. All right. Okay. So books, let's get back into it.
Yes.
All right. So you wrote books. You talked about the first book. And I mentioned that earlier, but the 11 books that you are selling on Amazon are called Hanging with the Girls. So go ahead and tell the audience a little bit more about these books.
Absolutely. Well, the first book, as you mentioned in your introduction, Smart Fetus, the Fetal Training Program, was about how to make your fetus smarter so you have a smarter baby. So that was my first book 25 or so years ago, and that did well. And then years later, I had my two girls. I have two girls, and they were little, and we used to go to every park here in Los Angeles. We went to like 30 different parks when they were little, because they loved to go to the park. So we go to all these parks, and I said, wow, one day I should maybe write a book about this. We have so much fun in all these different parks were different adventures, going to different parks. So then COVID hit, and we're all stuck in the house. And I was like, wow, that idea that I had years ago about writing these kids' books, maybe I should do it now since we're stuck in the house. So I wrote, Kelly, a 400-page children's book. It was this thick.
What? For kids?
And actually, believe it or not, it was 800 pages. This first 11 books is only the first half. I have another 10 books, which will be the other 400 pages. So I had an 800-page kids book. I have 400 still here. I have 400 that I released in this big book. And this is it's called Hanging with the Girls, because it's about a dad, which is me, hanging out at the park with his two daughters, having quality time with my kids. And all these parks had different little adventures. They gave the parks nicknames like the Up Park and the Down Park and the Boy by Himself Park, and all these cute little names. And I was like, wow, this will be a great. So I wrote it, released it, started doing book signings. And I'm like holding this book up, reading it to kids. I'm like, this is like a weapon. This thing is huge, So I spoke to my publisher. I said, I think I'm going to reformat these books so they're kid friendly. So I reformatted the books, and now let me grab one for you real quick.
Okay.
So here it is. This is one of the books here. So there are 11, they're this size now. So there are 11 small books, and they really are very colorful and pictures and so forth. And kids and families will love them. And they're about a dad having fun with his kids in the park. And I've been doing book signings. I have another event coming up on Saturday where I'm talking about the books. And they're really family friendly, fun, very positive, encouraging, motivating for dads who have girls. And the book is for girls and boys. So anybody, any
Mhm.
kid can read it with their family and friends and so forth. But it's really a positive journey of a dad spending quality time with his kids. And I gave this to my kids as a gift, and they were just teary eyed. They were like, "Oh, Dad, you wrote these books about our lives, and it's incredible, and blah blah blah." So I look at them now still, and I just think, wow, because some people write one book, like a children's book, and say, "Wow, I have my first children's book." I wrote 11 books at one time in a 400-page book, and can you imagine the amount of work that was involved?
Yes.
It took me a year to do. Well, actually, I take that back. Believe it or not, Kelly, it took me 2 months to write 400 pages.
Oh,
I wrote all the first 400 pages in 2 months.
okay.
The thing that took so long, the year, was all the graphic design. I mean, these things are
Got it.
filled with graphics and different beautiful pictures in here, what's going on in these books and so forth. And I took, believe it or not, I took every picture in every single book because I work in video and photography and so forth. So I
Okay.
have to go to each part because these are not cartoon books in the sense that they're cartoon books.
Hmm.
These are actual pictures of the actual parks that we went to.
Okay.
So you're saying cartoon characters at the real park.
Hmm.
And another thing about it is that these books are interactive in that these are real parks in Southern California. So if you're in Southern California, you can actually read the book and then go to that park. So like, wow, this is the park in the book, and this is the park, that I saw was here in the book. And so it's really an interactive kind of a thing.
Okay.
And people who I've done locally here with my book signings love that because they can now go to the park with their kids. And so it's really been a fun journey. And the next thing I'm going to do with the books actually is do a cartoon for each book. So
Cool.
each book will have its own cartoon for the book. So that's coming up.
Okay. That would be really cool. So would it be
Yeah.
like a link you would put at the end of the book and then the kids can go and watch the cartoon after they read the book, or
Well,
how do you
I'll
do
probably
that?
put it on my website, ihangwiththegirls.com, which is the website that you saw. And
Hmm.
I I'm trying to debate, I'll have maybe one or two for free, and then you can pay to see the rest. So I have to figure that out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now tell us, why do you believe it was important to tell these stories? Why did you feel
Well, from
you
one,
needed to do this?
sure. Well, for one thing, the first idea, it was just a gift to my kids. I said, I'm going to write a book and just give it to my kids so that when they get older, they have all these books saying that my dad, this is what I used to do with my dad when I was young. I, how many dads write 11 books to their kids as a gift?
Right.
Not many. And I said, so the first idea was a gift. And then I said, the second thing is like, well, this could be a positive imagery of an African American dad because society has, been tough on African American dads and Black men as a whole.
Yeah.
So I said, maybe I'll put a positive light on this. Here I am raising two kids by myself, single dad, raising kids, and just having a wonderful time doing this because of the fact that I didn't know how to do hair. I had to like make ponytails and part the hair and get them ready for school and cook their dinner and all this stuff. But
Hmm.
it's a lot of work,
Yes.
But with two girls. But now that they're bigger and older, they now look back on it and say, "Well, Dad, he really took us to a lot of places and he really did stuff with us." So I just wanted to be this hands-on quality time because I've seen horrible relationships from other people as growing up where the parent-child relationship was horrible, or their dad didn't like them, or the mom didn't get along with the dad, or some kind of
Hmm.
dysfunctional family or whatever. And even though my marriage broke up from this as well and had some issues, I wanted to make sure the kids didn't suffer. So I tried to do what I could to keep the kids' minds stable and not crazy because of what was going on around them. So
Right.
these
Right.
park visits really were like therapy for me and therapy for the kids, so we can get
Okay.
away from crazy environments and just have fun at the park. And that was another reason for this as well.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So tell everybody where they can find and buy your books. If they're interested in buying your books, where can they find them?
Sure. They're on Amazon. You can go to walmart.com. There are lots, I don't even know all of them. There's so many outlets all over the world that carry my books now, over to China and Asia and all over the place. I've seen links to my books all over the world. So if you just do a search for Morris Brown books, or I Hang with the Girls, Morris Brown, or Morris Brown children's books, or something like that in Google, I'll pop up everywhere. As I mentioned, my website as well, ihangwiththegirls.com as well. And so those are places you can get my books for sure. I'm also have a YouTube channel, so you can look up Hanging with the Girls podcast and see the podcast on there as well. Okay. And yes, you just places all over the world you can get the books for sure.
All right. So the links that I will have for you guys in the description are going to be his personal website, which is ihangwiththegirls.com. And then I'll also have the link to his Amazon store where he sells his books, just in case you just want to order it off of Amazon. But I'm sure it will be more beneficial to Morris and his profits if you went directly to his website.
Yeah.
So either way, it will be in the description of the show notes. All right. So Morris, I don't have any additional questions for you. Is there anything you want to leave for the audience before we wrap up?
Just, thank your audience for coming to your show. You have a wonderful show here, Kelly.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that I got connected to you to come on and share this information. If anybody has links to investors who want to invest in some of these products that we've talked about, whether it be Revita Crown, Reset Protocol, or the other products, I'm definitely taking meetings with investors who want to talk about this, and I'm open to negotiations and be more than happy to talk. And then as far as the children's books, if anybody has a podcast relating to youth or children or anything that wants to talk about children, or have me come in, like you speak or talk or do a talk via podcast or whatever, or Zoom, I'm open to that as well.
All right, great. All right, so you guys, I would like to thank you for watching or listening, I should say, to the Bougie Baldie Podcast. We are here to help uplift women who are experiencing any form of hair loss. We're here to educate you, inform you, entertain you, and provide real stories from women who've experienced hair loss themselves, because we're doing it with you, because of course we're experiencing hair loss, but we're also doing it for you. You're not alone. I want you to know that you have support, and there are some resources out there. If you need support, feel free to reach out to me. You can visit my website at www.limitlessmindsetcoach.com. Also, I mentioned the Bougie Baldie TV show. It is a streaming TV show on the Zandra TV network, and it is coming out, or has already come out, I should say. We had the premiere on December 3rd. Okay, so you make sure you go support and watch the show. The show is an extension of the podcast, where we have businesses that were created from hair loss. We have women who've experienced hair loss themselves and created something from that will benefit society. We also have panel discussions from real women who have hair loss, and we give real stories and talk about real topics that you could probably relate to, and it will help and uplift you and also educate you. So make sure you go to the Zandra TV network. If you have Apple TV, a Roku, or Fire TV, all you have to do is go to your app store, go to search for Zandra TV, ZONDRA TV. Find the app, download it like you do any other app, and it's free. Go ahead, plug yourself in, and look for the Bougie Baldie Show, and watch all of our episodes in season 1. Okay. Also, if you are a person who has a business around hair loss, whether you have a service or product that helps support or solve a problem within hair loss, we're looking for sponsors for the show. So we have a sponsorship information on the website, which is www.limitlessmindsetcoach.com. If you're interested in having your company, your business, your service, your product on the show, make sure you reach out to me so we can have a phone call and see if we will be a good fit, and you could potentially be a sponsor of the Bougie Baldie Show. All right, that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you for listening and watching the Bougie Baldie Podcast. I appreciate you as an audience member. Now, make sure you go and check out the Bougie Baldie TV show. You can watch it from any device, any smart device. All you have to do is go to ZandraTV.com and you will be able to pull up my show. It is under the lifestyle section on the menu if you don't see it on the front page. So make sure you go check it out. And if you did not get it, it's ZandraTV.com. Go ahead and click on the link in my show notes if you want to make it easier for yourself, and it'll take you directly there. I will speak to you on the next episode of the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe